Welcome to another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. I'm JP Murrieta, and this week we're at Las Cruces High School, home of the Bulldogs and their volleyball team, and head coach Keith Leupold. Thanks for joining us this week.
My pleasure.
How's the team playing? Do you like the way things are going?
We're playing very well right now. We're looking forward to making our several trips up to Albuquerque in the next couple of weeks. We are going to be hosted by La Cueva. We're going to go to the Rio Rancho tournament. Then we're going to be playing against Rio Rancho. So we have three matches, or 3 times up there in 8 days.
Well, one of those matchups in particular has some people taking notice. We'll get to that in just a moment. But before we do, you had mentioned tournaments that you're playing in. You have several tournaments on the schedule this year, including the Sweet 16, which you guys won. What's the biggest benefit of that, playing in so many multi-game events like that?
Well, I think it's wonderful because we get to play pool play, which doesn't count against us. If we have good teams that we're playing, and we did in our Sweet 16 and in the Franklin tournament, then we get not only playing time, but we get quality play.
You have a couple 6-footers on the roster this year, which I'm sure as a volleyball coach is always nice. When you have a lineup like that, does it change the way you coach or what you're doing with the group that you have?
I think it benefits us more than anything, probably from an attacking standpoint and from a blocking standpoint. And of course, our main rivals in the state right now, La Cueva, Cibola, Cleveland, most of those teams are very big as well. So having that height, I think, just benefits us.
And how about those big girls that you have up at the net? Who's getting a lot of it done for you this year?
Well, we have 2 seniors, Amari Stout and Michelle Morales, who have lots of experience and are playing very well. And then we also have Addison Massey, our super sophomore, who's having a big year as well.
You reached the state final last year. How many of these girls played in that final, and what did that experience do for them this year?
Well, I think we want more, and it's not a secret that, La Cueva is in our way, and we'd like to think that we have the team that can compete with them and can compete with a very good Cibola team. I have almost everybody back. We lost 2 setters last year, and so I have 10 or 11 kids who played in the state championship last November. So we hopefully are going to be a formidable foe to whoever we play.
Well, one of those teams, since you mentioned them, La Cueva, you haven't lost to a New Mexico school yet. La Cueva is the defending state champ, and you will face them in October. How long have you had that date, or have the girls had the date circled on the calendar?
I think we probably have that date circled. We're excited about opportunities to be good against good teams. We don't want to look past Cibola as well, because Cibola has been strong and they have lots of seniors. And so we're just thankful for the opportunity that we have to go up and play quality opponents.
You have 5 state titles. You'll be one of 3 individuals who have coached in New Mexico with 600 wins. Do you see yourself as that veteran coach, and what's your responsibility to some of the younger coaches in volleyball?
Toby Monsonatis and I always talk about being those coaches, being there for other coaches. One of my good friends in the coaching community now is Tana Montoya from Oregon Mountain, and she and I talk weekly, and she wants nothing more than to beat us, and she always tells me that. But I think that we do owe something to the rest of the volleyball community if we can provide that.
You've been providing it for a long time coach, multiple state titles, like I mentioned. How long do you see yourself coaching?
I told my wife, who has since passed away years ago, I told her I'm not going to coach that long. I'm just going to coach as long as Ralph Tasker did. And I think that would take me through 2034. I'm not thinking that I'm going to coach until 2034. But we have a good tradition and we have good athletes. We've added a couple of freshman athletes to this group who we think are really good. And so, I don't know. I guess I will know. They always say you'll know when it's time.
And lastly, what's the outlook for this team the remainder of the season? You've talked about some of the goals, and what do they need to do to reach those goals and what you want to accomplish?
Well, one of the things I'd like to do is get our middle blockers back. We've had Mercedes Willis playing hard in the middle, and a sophomore, Kaylee Garcia, been playing there as well, but we would like to get Linnea Carr and Haley Rautenstrauch back in the picture, and we're hopeful that both of them will be joining us fairly soon.
All right, well, hopefully we'll be joining you in the postseason if tradition holds up. I have a feeling that we will, but best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much, JP.
Good luck the rest of the season, ladies. We'll be back with more Game Time after this. Are you living the life of an athlete? The New Mexico Activities Association brings you Life of an Athlete, a resource for students, educators, and parents to understand the challenges students face. Athletes, one night of drinking will negatively affect your athletic performance for 2 weeks, and athletes who drink or do drugs are twice as likely to get injured. Alcohol's effects can reduce a high school athlete's potential by as much as 20 to 30%. Are you living the life of an athlete? Log on to the website to find out today.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Hi, I'm Itzel Morales from Las Cruces High School, and welcome back to Game Time.
I can't believe we are already 6 weeks into the high school football season. Let's take a look back at some of last week's winners and standout performances. Let's start in Rio Rancho as the Rams hosted Farmington. Rio Rancho quarterback J.J. Ariano threw for almost 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, and the defense came up big, forcing 6 turnovers, including a pick 6 by Ryan Brown, as the Rams improved to 4-2 on the year with a 48-28 win over Farmington. Volcano Vista's Elijah A-Train Gonzalez was a workhorse. He rushed for 225 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Hawks took down the El Dorado Eagles 38-19. Volcano Vista has a big matchup with Cleveland this week. Sandia is back in the win column. The Matadors met up with Manzano and shut out the Monarchs 35-0. Sandia will meet West Mesa on Saturday in one of the more intriguing matchups this week. Patrisco Heritage and Capital went head-to-head in a back-and-forth battle last week. Landon Griego threw for 342 yards and 4 touchdowns as Atrisco held on for the 33-29 win. The Jaguars are 4-2 and open district this week against Cibola. Manal snapped a 2-game losing streak with a 56-0 shutout against Pine Hill. Manal is home against Cuesta on Saturday afternoon. St. Michael's is 4-1 on the year as the Horsemen took down Aztec 19-7 in a low-scoring affair. St. Michael's is home this week against West Las Vegas. Bloomfield quarterback Blake Spencer threw for 3 touchdowns and rushed for another in their 50-0 win at Valencia last week. The defending state champs are unbeaten. Goddard made the trip to Gadsden last week. The Rockets were down 7-0, but scored 35 unanswered points, including a 21-point second quarter. Goddard improves to 4-2 on the year with a 35-7 victory. Grant's junior running back Andres Lazos went off against Kirtland Central, rushing for 333 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Pirates beat the Broncos 54-42. The Pirates improved to 3-3 on the year with a bye this week. Legacy Academy's Lorenzo Urban Cedillo was sensational at Mesilla Valley. The sophomore quarterback rushed for 147 yards and threw for another 350. He accounted for 6 scores in their 64-36 win.
Hi, I'm Ainsley Doolittle from Las Cruces High School. Check out the latest football polls.
Stout from Las Cruces High School, and we'll be back with more Game Time after this.
Do you love sports? Do you want a front row seat for exciting high school sports action in New Mexico? If the answer is yes to either of those questions, then becoming an interscholastic sports official may be right for you. The New Mexico Officials Association is looking for individuals age 15 years or older to serve as officials in 10 different sports. No experience is necessary and training is provided. If you're interested, call 505-923-3110. That's 505-923-3110.
or go to the website nmact.org and click on the Officials tab.
Welcome back to Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. This week we are at Las Cruces High School, home of the Bulldogs. But about 400 miles north of here, there's a football team in the Four Corners with a quarterback large in stature and stats.
There's a lot of big, strong people that play this game, but not everybody can play quarterback.
He's right. And not every quarterback is 6'3", 245 pounds. If you saw Trell Griego on the sidelines, you might think he plays defense, but his frame is fitted to be the Farmington Scorpions QB.
Trell Griego he's been a good leader for us. Even when he wasn't the starting guy, he was super engaged and, helping the starter out when we had Brandon Furby. And he's always been involved, and he's a student of the game.
I love to compete, anything. I mean, I literally have gotten in fights with my brothers over Monopoly, so just competing is my favorite part about it.
So far this season, Griego has thrown 23 touchdowns and also rushed for 5 scores.
He's an accurate passer, and he's a super physical runner. I think that's one of the things a lot of teams notice about him early on is he's not your typical 6'8" quarterback that can run and pop off a 70-yard touchdown, but he can create 5 yards in a cloud of dust with the best of them.
I feel like that's the position where I give my team the best chance to win, and if my position was D-line, I would give it 100% and compete just as much as I do at quarterback.
Dalton, in his 9th season as head coach, gives his quarterback the opportunity to identify a defense and decide what the best play call would be.
He has a lot of freedom to change the play and call the plays on the field, and if we want to go really up-tempo, we're at the point where he can call the game.
I just wanted to be better than my previous self. I think that's the biggest competition is with yourself, so I was just trying to be better than I was last year.
Last year, Farmington reached the quarterfinals of the state playoffs.
Farmington has a bye this week before starting district play against West Mesa. Before we wrap things up for the week, let's take a look back at the Rio Rancho Jamboree involving some of the top cross-country runners in the state.
Here she comes, number 14 North of Eldorado, Gianna Rayner. She's going to crush it. With her hand coming in.
Well, my favorite thing of cross country is the hills. And I think I'm pretty strong at them. I say that hills are my superpower, so I really like running up hills and running up them fast. I think I'm running really well, and I'm really proud of myself, especially being an 8th grader with all these seniors and juniors, and I feel really proud.
Here comes your winner, number 1454, Charlie Val.
It is the hardest course I've raced in a while. You got a ton of hills and inclines and rocky terrain, so it's tough. It's really hard. I was trying to go for the record today, which is like 15:27. I was a bit off, but that's all right. I feel like my team is really motivating me to be better, and I've got a great coach, so I'm just working at it one race at a time.
The cross-country state championships will be run at Albuquerque Academy on November 11th. That's going to do it for another episode of Game Time, presented this week by Nusenda Credit Union. Make sure you check in every week. You never know where we're going to end up or who we're going to talk to, but you do know the place to find the most high school highlights is right here. We'll see you next time on Game Time.